we have an important guest in the studio. We're going to shift our focus to the all-important England match. And joining me is Dev Tyagi, the podcaster and a journalist who's keeping a close eye on this match. Dev, welcome to the show. Just take us through what's going in the England match.
Big hammering. That's what's been happening since morning. 365, never an easy target to chase, and Bangladesh actually easily on the back foot. Spare a thought for Liton Das and Mushfiqur Rahim, who actually tried to give some substance to the run chase, which was never actually going to be any easy. They scored 2 vital 50s. Right now the score is 189 for the loss of 7 wickets, so it's primarily a lost cause.
When you look at the English side, do you think it is a comeback? It was like a kind of a revenge thing, especially after losing that first match. What do you think of it? Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of a shocker the way England began their campaign, however, not today. David Malan being the guy who dominated, and with such spunk, 140 of 364 teams' runs came from his own bat, and supported ably by the opening batsman, Johnny Bairstow needs no introduction, and of course, the one and only Joe Root coming to the party today with another vital 50. Absolutely. Everybody seems to be coming to the party from the English side, and rightly so, because they're in need of a victory. When you look at the standing points table today, they're actually languishing at number 10 because they have to improve their average net run rate as well. So that's a different battle within a battle that is happening. It's not just they're playing for a win, they're trying to improve. So from 10th, if they win this with a margin of over 200, they shift and they come to top 5. So that's another thing that they're looking at. Tell me about the opening stance. How did they play the first 11 overs of their game? They played as if there was nothing held back. Right. They were on the front foot, technically speaking and figuratively speaking. And it was just, they played with such freeness and such pomp and such swagger that it was almost like they had just walked on this pitch today at Dharamshala with one single intent, which was to crush their opponents, and perhaps that's the way the game is flowing. Is 350 the new 250 of this World Cup? Maybe 250 or 270 of the World Cup, yeah. Absolutely. So what we are speaking here is about the targets. Earlier in a 50-over match, the average run was around 250, 275, but now as we go along, it's now progressing towards 320, 325 and 340. That's the usual thing. And it's not just baseball. You look at South Africa, which has been playing an absolutely different kind of a game. This is the birth of a modern day ODI cricket, where you have one team posing a score of 438 and the second team, yes, Sri Lanka wasn't doing bad enough. They crossed the 303 mark in the 41st over. The only differentiator was the wickets that they had lost, and they couldn't sustain the tempo. So, do you think, Dave, when we look back in today's day and age, the 400 is also easily achievable the way things were going at the Arun Jaitley Stadium last week? No, absolutely. So, it's almost like as if the T20 gear has been put on by the contemporary cricketers in the ODI format, and they play with restless abandon. And it just allows them to express themselves freely as possible. And honestly, 400 could actually be chased down, and I won't be surprised if we maybe have 2 more games or maybe even more where teams actually made 400. But what we need to understand is that the batsmen today play with the T20 flavor. There's a lot of invention, there's a lot of risky hitting, and you just back yourself and you just go for it. Like, for example, if you look at Kusal Mendes, he just played as, that's not the kind of Mendes who we've known him to be. Well, that's not the Sri Lankan team that we've known them to be, because till last quarter they were fighting for their spot at the World Cup. Qualifies, they were playing for the qualifiers so that they could get selected, come to India and actually compete for the World Cup. Isn't it a new sign, a sign of resurgence of cricket? Absolutely. If you see a whole lot of new host nations and the ICC newer nations coming there? Associate nations? Absolutely, absolutely. Which also brings us to a larger question, which I think the revered ICC may now want to seriously think about. Should there be more teams than just 10? But to specifically talk about the point of Sri Lanka, this is Sri Lanka without Hasaranga. Yes. And I think they would be very happy about what they've done today. Absolutely. They've just posted a mighty total, and they're doing a good job by putting their all ducks in the row. Now let's take a step back and talk about the match that is coming up tomorrow.
Right.
What you see on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Indian team taking the Afghanistan tomorrow at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. Just want to talk about a little more. Yes, it's the David versus the Goliath.
Yeah.
What do you think of it?
Yeah, I think just that the Goliath will also fight with the appetite of a David tomorrow. And let's remember that the two teams have squared off against each other on only one previous occasion, which was the 2019 edition of the World Cup, which let's remember Afghanistan made very difficult for India to win. Full credit to that, Mohammad Shami was bowling with full pomp and amazing adrenaline. And tomorrow, I think Afghanistan are expected to at least put a strong fight, because let's not forget that they have two top batsmen who can really give our bowlers some good contest, if not exactly run for the money.
But what about the home pitch condition, playing at Kotla and playing at the Arun Jaitley Stadium? You know, that's like your home ground, virtually the home ground
actually.
Of most of the players, including
the home
Virat
of
Kohli.
the India, the national capital, and of course the ground which birthed the highest ever World Cup team score, 428 just days back, thanks to South Africa producing a run fest.
Do you see a danger for India, because Afghanistan doesn't respect any kind of bowling attack or any of the past great records one has against them?
Yes, but I would also say, sir, and just my humble observation about Afghanistan is that whenever they come against India, of course they feel intimidated. So they understand that this is India's home ground, it's the national capital, everybody's eyes are on them, and India haven't really been very sweet with them the way we have bashed them in the white ball games. But Afghanistan is spirited, they would want to fight tomorrow.
Absolutely, but haven't they practiced here in India? It seems that India has been their home ground for a long time, especially North India, Delhi and NCR.
Yes.
So what are your views? Would they be mentally now gearing up to face India? Would it be like a big challenge?
It would be definitely a challenge, a big challenge at that, because let's not forget they are facing one of the finest teams ever in the history of world cricket, India the way it is. But at the same time, Afghanistan have some promising batters who will actually only increase their level of confidence. So you have somebody like Rahmat Shah, who's the highest ODI scorer as we speak for the team, Afghanistan. You have somebody like Najibullah Zadran, who has so much of experience. Rahmat Shah, of course, has made 5 ODI centuries as on date. You also have the youngsters like Gurbaz and Ibrahim. And together they have so many centuries between them. I think around 7 or 8 ODI centuries. So they would have that confidence.
Absolutely, they have the confidence and they have the guts to go forward. What about Rashid Khan? Your views on that?
Yeah, he's a world-class bowler, needs no introduction, and of course the IPL experience may somewhere at least come in handy, because he's quite familiar bowling to a Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. But let's see, Afghanistan tomorrow need more than Rashid Khan to help them challenge India realistically if they want to achieve that.
What about the spin department?
There's Mujib, he's amazing. And of course, if they actually bring some kind of a variation, then possibly, I don't know, if they want to pick, let's say, Naveen-ul Haq, who's actually in the squad, then I think it will also excite the crowds for obvious reasons.
Well, absolutely. India would be playing for the fans, and this is what we are looking for.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.